friends, and welcome back to my channel. My name is Maria. If this happens to be your first time visiting, welcome to Siempre Infinitos DIY. If you have not subscribed to my channel, I really hope you consider in doing so. Today I want to share with you how I made a gingerbread using this mushroom that I found at Hobby Lobby. So the first thing I went ahead and did is make sure that my clay was well conditioned. So once after I conditioned it well, making sure there's no bubbles in there, I started to rolling it out. I made sure that my rings guides were on this time on my rolling pin, and I just began to roll my clay out, making sure also that it was not too thin. You can see here I began to wrap my entire clay, not clay, but my entire mushroom, and I should have probably made it shorter. I would have not went through all of this when I rolled out my clay, but that's okay. So I'm just going to trim this off, and I'm going to work first with the top of the mushroom. Once I have all of that secured or covered, then I'm going to go in and work with the bottom. This tutorial is so easy and quick. It took me to make all of this probably like 35 minutes only because I kept stopping. And plus, of course, you already know that I like to watch TV while I do my tutorials. All right, so again, this is so easy. Anyone can do this. If you are a beginner at using foam clay, this is perfect for you. There's not really much that you need to do with this. So, and you really don't need that many tools anyway. All right, as you can see here, I'm just going to go right ahead and wrap the bottom piece, and then I'm just going to trim it off. And then the two pieces are that I joined together, I'm going to rub those two pieces in and making sure that that line where they connect, it will be invisible. So while your clay is soft, it is good to do this. You'll be able to get rid of any lines and what have you. Any bubbles, make sure you pop those. You can use a toothpick or a barbecue, not a barbecue, but what do you call those, skewer sticks. All right, so now that I have it all wrapped up, I'm going to be making big long worm shapes. So just keep in mind, whenever you're making your pattern, it doesn't really matter which or how you make it. It's just, whatever makes you happy. There's really no right or wrong way on doing a gingerbread theme or pattern, I meant to say. So for me, I just decided to do little waves. I had dots. I made my zigzags. I made little swirls, the letter S, just anything that it was appealing to my eye. So whenever you do yours, just go for it, whatever makes you happy, because again, like I've said it many times, at the end of the day, it is your piece. So when you're making a long worm shape and you want to make sure that there's no dents in there, if you use your hands, it's obviously you're going to see some. So which is why I like to use a clear stamp. And these can be found at the Dollar Tree, also at Michael's or even Hobby Lobby. And I'm sure you noticed that I have not used any glue. If the clay is soft enough, it's going to hold on its own. But if your clay does dry a bit, then most likely you're probably going to have to use glue. And in this case, if I had to use any glue, I would be using tacky glue. Only because when I have used crazy glue, I have to be very careful with the amount of glue that I'm using and making sure that it does not drip, because if it does drip on me, then you will see that streak once it dries up, and it's going to just be very noticeable. So if you decide to use any crazy glue in any of your projects, just make sure that you add a little at a time. So now that I finished my mushroom, I'm going to set it to the side and I'm going to start working on my little gingy girl. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to make sure to wrap my entire gingy head in some clay, making sure that the clay is not too thin. And then of course I'm going to trim off any extra clay, and then I'm going to continue. As you can see there, I'm just going to be rolling it back and forth with the palm of my hands, getting any air bubbles in there, making sure that there's no deep lines or dents or what have you. And then just continue doing this until I am satisfied. I'm going to set it to the side and I will begin to make her body. So with the body, what I did, I do apologize actually before go any further. I apologize if I did not added any measurements for the size of the body or the arms. I just pretty much just eyeball it, but I do apologize. So way I eyeball my gingies is when I make the head, I always get the body and make sure that the body and the head are the same size, and then I just begin to roll out. The body can be just a little bit smaller, but it really depends on you. If you want your gingy to have a big head or a small little body, it's up to you. But the way I do mine is I make sure that they're both either the same size or that the body is just a tad smaller than the head. So here I have the body making a teardrop shape. If you do not want to use this much clay, you can get another styrofoam ball just like the one I used here, and you can actually, by pressing it down, you can make a teardrop shape. You'll probably start off with a egg shape, and then you can just start pressing it down. This will not work if you decide to use a smooth foam ball. It's going to actually be a little harder to use that. So these styrofoams, the one that I'm using here, you will be able to do that. So here I have the limbs, not the limbs, the legs. Well, yeah, they are limbs, right? The legs and the arms, and I made sure that both of the legs are the same size and both of the arms are the same size as well. Now, my arms have to be a little smaller than the legs, okay? I wasn't thinking about adding a dress, but at the last minute, I went ahead and just decided to cover her up in a cute little dress. And again, I do apologize for not adding any measurements there. So what I did here was that I just went ahead and rolled out a piece and just wrapped it around my gingy body, making sure that it was not too short. And of course, you can always make it large and then just trim away whatever you're not going to need. And there you are. If you don't want to use this much clay, let's say you don't have much brown, or you don't happen to have an extra styrofoam ball, then you can get any other color of clay, perhaps some that are drying, you know, just make a teardrop shape and use that for the body, and then cover it up with the color that you do have if you want to add a cute little dress or some little pants. Okay, so now that I have my strip, I am going to cut the ends and then cut on the top and on the bottom, if that makes any sense. Because I want to make sure that it's straight and that it's an even cut. Then I'm going to try to explain this as best as I can. The way I make my ruffles is only on one side, which is the top or the bottom, whichever side you want. You're going to fold those two pieces together, as you can see there. And you want to make sure that the bottom does not get folded, only the top. And that's how easy you make one. So here I am going to be making almost, I believe, 2.5. And depending on how short you want it or how many ruffles you want in there, that's how many you're going to be adding in there. Just keep in mind that once you fold that clay together, you cannot unfold it. And then right on the top where you see that there's gaps, I'm not going to worry about that. I'm going to press that in once I figure it out how I want it to look. Then at the top, I'm going to add a strip so that won't look so obvious. And as well, also when I was adding her legs, actually after I added the skirt part or the ruffle, I realized that I forgot to add the icing around her legs. So now I have the arms ready, and as you can see there, I went ahead and added the icing around her legs. So I'm going to go right ahead and attach these arms to her body. I'm going to be using a piece of skewer stick because since the clay is heavy, I want to make sure that they are double secure and they will not fall down. And also I am going to make sure that she does not fall over or slumps over the mushroom. So I am going to be using actually a little bit of a larger stick than the one that I'm using right now, because I want to make sure that that stick is going to go all the way down to the mushroom. So it has to hold the head, the body, and the mushroom all together in place. And this will prevent her from tipping over. Okay, she's coming along. So here, this is going to be for the top of their head, and I'm just going to be making little little lines, or little swirls, whatever you want to call these. And then I'm just going to add that all around her head. This is going to be mimicking her hair. I did notice afterwards that it was a little bit too far back, uh, but that's okay. It's my Gingy. But anyways, so I did decide to add some resin eyes on her. And one thing that I've learned about the resin eyes is that when you add them, you want to add them when the clay is somewhat still soft, and then press down. Because if you do not, if you decide to do this when it is dry, what's going to happen, they're going to fall off, and then you're going to have to wind up using some crazy glue or whatever type of glue, and it's just going to keep falling. So this way it's best to attach them when the clay is somewhat soft. And as you can see here, I just went ahead and added a little strip there so it wouldn't look so obvious when the clays are they meet, and added some cute little pink dots to her skirt. Now I want her to also have a little scarf, because since I went ahead and made two different little bows, which my plan first was to add one on each side, but I was like, no, let's give her a little scarf. And yeah, so went in there, gave her a little nose, as you can see there as well. And then because she was somewhat soft and I did not have a tool to give her, or for this size of Gingy, I used a spoon to give her a little mouth, and then just went in with and dabbed some little makeup on her cheeks so she got some rosy cheeks. And here she is. Look how cute and adorable she looks. She is so easy for anyone to make. And then I love this mushroom. Well, my friends, as you can see, this is the end of the video. Thank you so much, and I hope I inspire you. Until the next time, stay safe, be kind. Bye.